Okay, here we go. Another live kettlebell workout. Alright, couple people watching. Second set of lunges. My least favorite exercise in the world. Alright, 25 people. How's it going, everybody? I was watching a video this morning about a Japanese scientist in the 80s. How he was ahead of his time about health and food and chi, and how the body's not really made of matter, it's made of energy. And you could change your energy by thought and eating right, you know, all that Far East medicine type stuff. It was a really cool video. I'll try and link it. But one thing I always try to concentrate on is my mindset. I always try and have a good mindset, a positive outlook on life, no matter how shitty things get. And I think, you know, that's kind of, hi, how are you? That's kind of what this doctor was saying, or scientist, that, you know, if you have a negative outlook on life, it has negative consequences for your chi, or your life energy, your body. I mean, according to Eastern medicine, we all are vibrations, you know. What was that book back in the day where the guy goes to South America and he discovers, you know, how to see people's aura or chi, or he calls it their vibration. I can't think of the name of it right now. A great book. I think I read it in the late 90s. Speaking of books, I don't think enough people read anymore. Everybody's just so focused on the internet, but I've been reading The Emerald Mile, which is a book about the Grand Canyon and some of the river guides. If you guys don't know, I'm an old river guide. But it's a book about the Grand Canyon and some of the river guides. The Emerald Mile was actually a boat that they broke the speed record down the Grand Canyon at really high water in 1983, I think. And it's kind of impossible to beat that now because there hasn't been floods like that since 1983 on the Grand Canyon. And with climate change, it might not ever be again because that's all fed by snowmelt. Anyway, it's a great book if you're looking for a good book to read. Kevin Fedarko wrote it. Actually, I have a copy right here. This is the book I'm talking about. I got it on Thrift Books for like $6 or $10 or something. If you don't know, Thrift Books is like an online bookstore that sells used books, which I'm all for. Anything you could get that's used is awesome because then something new doesn't have to be made. It's basically recycling for books. So Thrift Books, I try not to buy on Amazon too much anymore. Although I was a super early customer of Amazon back in college. I bought school books on there, but now I think Jeff Bezos has too much money, too much power. Never back down, never give up. Yeah, that's right. Football buff. Know what that says? No, football 4K. How are you? Love we have to see the title backwards. Yeah. The Emerald Mile. It's actually a great passage. I wasn't in the middle of working out. It's in the end of the book. It's about man and the environment and all that stuff. And I don't know. People need to read more, read less online. It does when I start to spend too much online. I'll take an hour each day and just read a good book. Now I'm done with that book. I'm reading a book called Slapstick by Kurt Vonnegut. I'm revisiting Kurt Vonnegut. He was one of my favorite authors when I was younger. And I got a bunch of books on the ledger to read. Okay, let's keep going with the workout. Let's see, where was I? Squats now, or not squats. I did lunges, so I'm not gonna do squats today. So, upright rows. I'm trying to mix it up a little. Still limiting my exercise, not doing exercise in the same way. Go ahead and subscribe, guys, if you're not subscribed. I'm trying to schedule these live feeds. In 2 days, I'm going up to Book, which is the mountain province, the Cordillera region here in the Philippines. I'm actually looking for land up there. So me and the fiance and the baby are driving up there for 4 or 5 days. It's about a 6-hour drive from here. It's only 200 kilometers, but the roads are windy and slow. I'll try and video a bunch of that. I don't know if I'll do a live feed, but I'm trying to go kayaking while I'm up there, hit the river. It's part of the reason I want to buy land there, is there's a river there with a yeah, happy birthday, Nick. Merry Christmas. Yep, Merry Christmas. I'm gonna put up our Christmas tree here in a day or two. I'm just waiting for get some new, we lost the Christmas balls. I don't know what happened to them. We moved twice last year. So yeah, guys, back to the reason I was talking about the book is I was talking about chi and inner energy, and how this scientist I was watching, it says the body's not really made of matter, it's made of energy. Which, if you study science, atoms, what we call atoms, which, atoms make up matter. Atoms are, most of the size of the atom is the valence structure around the atom, which is basically the electrons that circle the atom. So like most of an atom is nothing. You have the nucleus in the middle, and then the electrons circling it, but most of it's just empty space. So it kind of makes sense that we're made of energy. I don't know, what do you guys think? That's a little deep for a Monday, well, it's Monday morning here in the Philippines. Sunday night where most of you guys are probably. They kind of talking about that whole idea of manifesting. If you think positively, positive things are going to happen to you. You shouldn't just worry about money all the time, making money, which of course is really hard to. Hi, how are you? BLM, is that BLH? I'm new, all right. How are you? Welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2,800 subscribers by Christmas. I think I'm like 7 or 8 away. Hey bro, how are you? Something Jones. Sorry. It's super hard with the light and everything to read the small print on the vertical live stream. I gotta go on there one of these days and figure out how to make it easier to read. Okay, next set. What do you guys think about matter and energy? And another thing you're talking about was eating, I used to be for like 10 or 15 years, I was a full-on vegetarian. And I often think about going back to that life, although it's very hard here in the Philippines. I eat a lot of fish. Vegetables are actually the most expensive food to buy here, believe it or not. I guess in beef too, they don't eat a lot of beef here. Cows are pretty rare, but tons of pork, which is, in my opinion, probably the worst meat for you. But pork is cheap and bountiful. That's why the only meat that's cheaper is fish. And even that, Whew, that was bad form today. Even fish has gotten to be so expensive here. I mean, it's basically the same. Pappy. It's been, never back down, never give up. Yeah, that's right. Fish costs, or food costs basically the same in the Philippines now as it does in the U.S. Well, no, I've been to the U.S. for 3 or 4 months, but so I've heard it's gone up a lot, but I mean, it's gone up a lot since the pandemic. Food in the U.S. But like I was saying, I'm thinking about maybe going back to a more all vegetarian lifestyle. You know, like I was for years. 11 people, all right. Go ahead and subscribe. You know, because this Japanese doctor I was watching was talking about the body is energy, not matter and stuff, and what you eat matters a lot. You know, like eating. You know, and it's I think there's definitely a lot of at least anecdotal evidence that if you eat mostly a vegetarian diet, you tend to live longer. Like those, you know, what do they call them, super agers in certain parts of Asia and mountain regions of the world. But at the same time, it's hard to avoid meat. Okay, push-ups. Push-ups are great exercise, but you know, you need to, when you work your push muscles, but you also need to work your pull muscles. So I'm trying to get some kind of pull-up bar going here soon. So I could work my pull muscles one day and my push muscles the other day. You know, a lot of guys where you see a lot of workout routines where one day it's pull, well, the next day it's push. Stuff like that. So anyway, back to food. I was a vegetarian for like 12 years or something like that, where I ate mostly vegetarian food. I mean, it's harder now, I have a family and stuff. But in that time, I didn't really get sick. I mean, not like I get sick a lot now. I don't know, what do you guys think about vegetarian food? I haven't eaten fast food in 20 plus years. Just, I try to avoid most processed foods, chips, donuts. Foods heavy in sugar, I avoid. They love their sugar and sweets here in the Philippines. It's like, but at the same time, if you go to the bakery here and get like cookies, they're not as sweet as like the cookies in the US. I mean, the US palate is so trained for sweet foods that if you don't eat in the US for a while, well, I mean, that's not true. The Philippines also like sweet foods, but like me, I hardly ever eat sugar. So if I do eat something sugary, it tastes like super sweet to me, you know? But if you eat sugar all the time, you just need more sugar to get that sweet taste. So it's better to eat it once in a while as like a treat. You know, because as you guys know, I'm sure you've seen all the rhetoric. Sugar is not good for your body, not good for your insulin resistance, you know. But once in a while, everything's okay. Cindy, Lance, F.U. Huh. Okay. I don't know what you mean by that. Did I offend you somehow? So yeah, anyway, that's my current dilemma. Should I go back to a fully vegetarian lifestyle? I know my fiance, who does most of the cooking here, doesn't want to do that. She loves her pork. She's Filipino after all. Okay, set number 3 push-ups. A big push move. Probably one of the best upper body exercises. All your muscle building you do in those last couple, the first reps are just to get to the last few sets, which are the ones that actually, or reps. Hey, how you doing? Ashley Fowler. So as I was saying, the last few reps you do in your, go ahead and subscribe, Ashley, if you're not subscribed. The last few reps you do in your sets are the ones that actually build muscle, if that's what you're looking to do. The first, if you're doing 10 sets, the first 8 are just to get you to those last 2, if that makes any sense. And then like, if you're working arms, the last down, going real slow, that's the one where you're tearing the muscle and building it back up. Okay, I'm gonna do some shoulder work now. The swing is kind of a full body workout. Works the front of the shoulders really well. Bend the knees. 1, 2, breathe. 3. Whew. It's kind of that dynamic work. Good for sports fitness. Part of the reason I stay in shape is I'm still a really avid whitewater kayaker. Which whitewater kayaking is like an adventure sport, you know. If you're up in the mountains, running the rivers, it could be really dangerous, especially if you're not in good physical condition, because you go upside down in the kayak. You need to have good stamina, hold your breath, roll the kayak up so you can breathe again. Anytime you're in a situation like that where you might swim in a fast moving river with big rapids, you know, it could mean your life. So that's one of the reasons I stay in great shape. Okay, go ahead and subscribe, guys. I'm here in the Philippines, Walking Man Walks. This is my backyard. You new guys? See the waves breaking down there? I go and surf them sometimes on my kayak. You can see this is my outdoor indoor part of my house. There's my kayak right there. I brought that on a plane from the US this year. I've traveled all over the world with my kayak. I used to be like a semi-professional whitewater kayaker. I worked in Africa, Ecuador, all kinds of places, teaching kayaking, stuff like that. Whitewater raft guiding, I used to do that a lot. Okay, next set. LCAS 1989, how are you? Go and subscribe, guys. I'm almost at 2,700. It's my Christmas goal. Make sure I always drink a lot of water when I'm working out. I do this live workout about 3 days a week. This week I'm doing a little traveling though, so I won't be on later on this week. But I am going to make a video about my travels here in the Philippines, up to the mountains. So stay tuned for that, and I will schedule these, so if you subscribe, you'll see my schedule for my live feeds. If you're interested in what I'm talking about. You guys are just getting on now. Started out talking about this book I'm reading, The Emerald Mile. Great book. Inspirational. About some whitewater rafters and the community and the fight for the dams on the Grand Canyon. If you've ever been to the Grand Canyon or been down the Grand Canyon like me in a kayak, it's a good book. But even if you haven't, if you're an environmentalist or you care about the environment, or if you care about, you know, engineering, it's about the floods in 1983. The floods in 1983 that made it possible for some raft guides to break the world speed record going down the 275-mile rapids of the Grand Canyon. All right, you're here to support anybody live stream right now. Well, thanks. Go ahead and subscribe. And like I said, I'm going for that 2,700 subscribers. I'm awesome. Thank you. You're awesome too. Everybody's awesome. Okay, last set of these. Not really a workout channel per se, I'm more of a travel channel, but I get kind of bored just sitting around and live streaming, so I like to do it while I'm working out. 200 push-ups, that kick ass. So yeah, and I love working out. It's, you know, I've been working out since high school football probably, or even before that, and you know, it's just something that, you know, heals the mind, I think, working out. You get that serotonin going when you work out, so if you're having a bad day or something, it'll bring you back to reality, you know, make you feel good about yourself and about life in general. So I'm not really a workout channel. I'm a travel channel, basically a vlog. I'll talk about anything, but I like to work out, or I like to have the live feed on while I'm doing these workouts. So I'm not obsessed with working out. I work out like 3 times a week. I'm more obsessed with like lifestyle, living a clean, healthy life, not doing too many drugs or drinking. I don't really drink. I live in Colorado in the States. I do occasionally smoke some pot occasionally. But you know, I did a lot more when I was in my 20s. Now I'll eat some edibles if I want to help sleep at night. Sometimes my mind gets going and you know, I start thinking about stuff too much, overthinking stuff, life, economics, you know, even though I want to be clean, vegetarian, with a chi, you know, and positive energy, it's still hard to keep those negative, you know, things out of your mind sometimes. So I'll eat a gummy once in a while. Okay, next I'm gonna do some shoulders. I'm gonna do some pushes, shoulder pushes. Sometimes I think it's probably not as good for my workout concentration and everything, doing a live feed while I'm working out, but I definitely enjoy it. I mean, I just started like 3 months ago, 2 months ago. If you look back on my stuff, I started at a gym. I was working out at a gym and I moved recently and I only had this one kettlebell. So now I've been doing this one kettlebell workout, you know, or like push-ups and stuff like that. I pride myself on my ability to adapt. I think that comes from my youth, growing up in New York City in poverty with a single mother and 5 kids. Just had to make good with whatever we had. We just had to adapt. And it's followed me through life. You are awesome. Thank you. My fiance hates when you guys give me compliments. She thinks it goes to my head. Tell me a happy birthday. My name is Nick. Happy birthday, Nick. Right before Christmas. That's the kids that had Christmas birthdays that I grew up with always hated that because they got one present for Christmas and their birthday. Okay, so number 2. I guess we're not that close to Christmas yet. Getting there, 2 weeks. Best peptide to become Jewish or black? Peptide? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I remember peptide from chemistry class in that sense. I hope that's not a racist comment. We don't do racism here on my channel. Are you my mommy? I'm not going to respond to that. Go and subscribe, guys, if you're not subscribed. Share this with a friend if you like my feeds. I'm starting to do more scheduled live streams so people will actually know when I'm going to be on. People who care. If you don't care, don't subscribe. If you want to help out the channel, get a membership. That I hate that set. This is 16 kilo kettlebell, like 40 pounds, I guess. Alright, on that side, not bad. Okay, next up is dips. My favorite muscle to work, triceps, but I really like doing like what do they call it, like suicide curls, laying on the bench. But this is too much weight to do it. I don't have a bench here in my house. All things I would like to remedy soon. So if you guys are just coming on, my book of the day, Emerald Mile by Kevin Fedarko. I got it on Thrift Books for like $6 or $7, which is a used book website, alternative to Amazon, evil Jeff Bezos, Amazon. See, Jeff Bezos recently got in shape, but all he did was pump himself up with a bunch of steroids. That's what rich guys do. The Rock. Yeah, I love working my triceps. Three-quarters of your arm is triceps. A lot of people think you have to work your biceps to get big arms. Not that I have huge arms or anything, but your triceps where you really want to work if you want big arms. Everyone leave the live for a second and join back. Yeah, is that gonna be more better standing on YouTube, not Facebook. Yeah. All right, guys, we're about 39 minutes, about 20 more minutes. And then I gotta go do some work online. Unfortunately, I do still work a little. I know I look old, but I'm not old enough to retire yet. How are you doing? I'm doing good. How are you? Is that Troy or Droy? J-Ray? J-Ray Jr. How are you, man? Okay, next set of dips for the triceps. Love me some dips. I'm gonna get me one of those normal dip bars because I like those kind of dips even better. But chair dips, if you got nothing else, they work pretty good too. It's important workout. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I remember one time when I was in like high school, I was jogging in my neighborhood and I ran into my aunt who lived just around the block from me, and she said, yeah, when you're jogging or exercise, you should breathe in your nose, out through your mouth. And I was like, okay. I didn't really think of it much. But of course, since then, I've learned that, you know, when you breathe through your nose, you have your whole, you know, all these channels in your face, your sinuses, they're called actually, have all these filters for the air before it hits your lungs and then out the mouth. But if you breathe in your mouth, you don't have those same filters. So it's much better for you health-wise to in through the nose and out through the mouth. You gotta go lower, you ain't doing it right. Homosexual activist. Blood can't even dip. Yeah. This, like I said, it's not really an exercise channel. I just work out while I'm bullshitting with you guys doing this live. I love to work out. But actually, my butt's touching the ground when I'm doing those dips, so I can't really go any lower. But if you want to send me a video of you dipping and how awesome your dips are, go ahead. Always critics on there. That's one thing about the internet, is you get lots of critics, but they won't show themselves. They'll just you. See that? My butt touches the ground on that dip. So how much lower should I go? Nope, never been to prison. Been in jail, but not prison. Got thrown in jail once in Virginia Beach for peeing in the street at night. I got thrown in jail once in Maryland for driving in my van at the time. I lived in a van for like 3 or 4 years when I was a raft guy. But I had like one of those little marijuana bats in there. I wasn't smoking it at the time, but you know, it was back when, you know, in Maryland at the time, it was 1999. It was like a capital offense to have any trace of marijuana, so they threw me in jail and I had to be bailed out for having like 1/10 of a gram of marijuana in my car. Believe on Jesus. Yo, what's up? What's up? Nicole or Nicholas? Okay, I got my 3 sets of dips. Going to upright rows. For the trapezoids, I'm sure somebody will criticize my form on these too. Like I said, I'm not really a workout channel. More of a lifestyle channel. But if you want to work out with me, I do most of my lives working out because I get bored just sitting there talking to the camera. I saw a girl doing a live feed like that yesterday. She was sitting in a chair with her hoodie on, hardly even talking, but she had like 100 people watching her, which I almost never have, probably because she was cute. Definitely get a leg up on the social media if you're a cute girl. I think Instagram has proven that. Oh, there goes my water pump. Now I got some serious background noise. So if you guys just came on, Nicole, was it Nicholas or Nicole Glass? Yeah. Go ahead and get a subscription. At the beginning of this live, I need like 8 more before 2,800. Maybe at the end of this live, I'll have 2,800. Who knows? That would be nice. You guys just came on. I'm Walking Man Walks here in the Philippines. It's a lifestyle channel. Only one person there still? Okay. I guess the guy left didn't like me criticizing his criticism. I try to be fair to everybody, but I'm only human, right? People still watching. Nicole Glass. You get a subscription. So after these, I'm going to do curls. I'm going to call it a day. That'll be about an hour by then. 47 minutes I'm running right now. Like I said, I won't be on again this week. I'm traveling later in the week. But I will make a video about that. If you subscribe, you'll get it. I'm sure you'll get the notice. I'll post it on my post too when I make the video. But just heading up to the mountains here in the Philippines, from the beach to the mountains, and we're up there to look for some land actually. Buy some farmland to build a sustainable house. Solar and all that good stuff off the grid. Who knows, my channel might turn into a off the grid living channel. Imagine I'll have to get Starlink at that point. I don't really like supporting Elon Musk either. Jesus loves too. You mean TOO? Hi Adam, Aiden, how are you? Background noise from the water pump comes on. Go ahead and subscribe if you're new. We're going to hit that 2,800. That would be awesome. On my way to 1 million subscribers. Good job, thank you. Have a good day, you have a good day too. Make sure you subscribe. What is that? NMC Soccer, okay. I played soccer as a kid. That's probably my best sport, like soccer and lacrosse. Always had good footwork. My should have stuck with it. I switched to like football, which I was a running back, but I was a little undersized. In New York, where I grew up, so the team could play their running backs would be about 200 plus pounds. I was about 180 at the time. I was strong, but undersized, and I was fast, but I wasn't fast. I was like the second fastest guy on my team, but most of the guys weren't that fast at all, so not like a Saquon Barkley type fast. Okay, moving on to the bicep curls, and then we're going to call it a day here, guys. We're working the tricep, much more with the bicep for some reason, I don't know why, it's just personal preference. Try not to move the elbow too much, but I said I want to just want to kettle press. Some lighter kettlebells, I'll probably go a little lighter with that. 7 people. Go to subscribe if you're new, guys. Thanks for watching. Book of the week this week by Emerald Mile, Kevin Federico. Because I just finished this book. It's a great book. If you have time, take an hour out each day or a half hour, maybe 15 minutes, do a little reading, get your eyes off the screen. When I was growing up, computers were just coming online. We had Apple computers in my high school, and those little white ones with the DOS screens. Probably a lot of you don't remember those. DOS was the first language. But obviously we didn't have smartphones. So my escape all the time, and when I wanted to escape, was to read. So I was a voracious reader. I read hundreds of books when I was young. I found myself drifting away from that, smartphones and videos on YouTube and just all the information you get from your phone. But in the past year, I started forcing myself to read more. It's just really good for your mental health. And it's just something you get out of a book that you can't really get out of a video. And you don't really understand it until you actually start reading books. Gorilla 125. I gig, but have a good rest of your day. Alright, man, you have a good rest of your day, too. If you did read, you subscribe. Thank you. I'll be back. Not this week. Like I said, I'm going to the mountains to travel. I don't have time to do a live stream. But I will make a video. Recorded video on my GoPro. My last live stream of the week this week. Thanks for watching. Only 4 there. That week they left on. It's the cold season here in the Philippines. About 85 degrees right now. in the morning. I love living by the ocean here, but I'm going to look for land up in the mountains by the river. I'm a river guy. You know, I was a river guy for years. Whitewater kayaker. They have some good rapids on the Chico River up there. Tubuk, T-U-B-U-K. Look it up. That's where I'm heading this week. And I'll definitely post the video from there. Hopefully I'll find somebody to go kayaking with me. It's not something you really do by yourself. I have a lot in the past, but on a new river that you don't know, it's better to have somebody who knows the area. I'm going to try and find somebody, which of course is much harder in the Philippines than in the United States. Just go, the first time I ever went kayaking in Georgia, I just went down to the Whitewater River, and camped next to it, and met guys kayaking, and, you know, or actually the Chico River is where I camped next to. I met guys kayaking there, they took me, showed me the rapids, and, you know, the rest is history, but it's a little more difficult here, but I want to start a community here of kayakers and like-minded people up there in the mountains. Okay, that's it, guys. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Like I said, it's my last live feed for the week. Even though it's just Wednesday morning, I'm leaving early. I'll be gone until after the weekend. It's a 6-hour drive when I'm going. So I'm staying at a hotel at a campground up there. Maybe the campground in Ravana. I have a 3-month-old baby, so camping's not really an option right now. I mean, I suppose I could, but it makes everything a lot harder. I'm worried about, you know, kids are really susceptible to dengue fever here. Adults not as much. Adults could definitely get it, but yeah. Okay guys, thanks for watching. We're right about an hour, 59 minutes now, and I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe.